Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while since I've posted anything, but I hope to change that going forward. Today I've got kind of a unique video for you. As I'm sure you saw by the title, I bought a $2,700 Mustang. How good or how bad is it? Now this is a 1999 New Edge SN95 Mustang. From 94, 95 to 98 was the original SN95, and it was a very sleek, kind of rounded off, non-aggressive looking car. So in 99, Ford went in and they added some vents. They had the hood scoop that doesn't really do anything, but looks good, I guess. And they added some other things just to kind of make the car look a little more aggressive. If you hear thunder in the background of this video, I apologize. But finding out there's some cloud cover, my phone isn't overheating to film this video. Now this car I think is a pretty blue. It's not too terrible on the paint. The roof has some clear coat fading. The handle on the door does, and so does the rear spoiler. If you know a way of fixing this, I know some people will say wipe on clear coat helps it a lot. If that looks too far gone, let me know in the comments, or if you have any other ideas on making that not quite as noticeable. It doesn't have to be fixed entirely because this car is not perfect. And that's one of the reasons this car is $2,700, is because I bought this car knowing it was not perfect. One of the reasons this car was so cheap was it's a New Edge Mustang. These cars are not very expensive. Not expensive at all. You can get your pick of the litter on these cars for $4 to $5. You can get one for $3, and if you look hard enough, you can get one for under $3, just like I did with this car. Another reason is this car has 180,000 plus miles. Now, that is a lot of miles for a sports car, I know. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, it's just highway miles. But this car does have a lot of highway miles. The previous owner dailied it an hour and a half on I-85 every day. So this does have quite a few highway miles. And you can kind of tell by looking at it. Most of these cars with that many miles are completely thrashed. A lot of them are like trailer park cars, and they just were beaten to death. There's cars like these with 120K on the clock, and it is destroyed. So overall, this car isn't in too bad a shape for having the miles that it does. It hasn't been pristinely taken care of, but it has not been too horribly abused either. I don't think it's a bad looking car. I really do like the color, minus little fading parts, but I think it's a real pretty blue. And you really don't see too many of these Mustangs with this kind of blue. I think it's a unique shade. I'm not a huge fan of the wheels, but they have great tires on them for now. And honestly, like I said, this is a $2,700 car. Another reason, and the biggest reason this car was only $2,700, you will see as we go around to the back here, there's no cutouts in the rear bumper for the exhaust tips. And that's because this car is not a V8. Yes, I know, it's a V6, which is very unfortunate. Go ahead and let me know what you think of V6 Mustangs in the comments. But that is also the reason I bought this car. Now, if you've watched the channel at all, you know I have this 2005 Tahoe that has a 5.5-inch lift and is on 35s. And it gets about 11 miles to the gallon on a good day. If you've watched the channel, I've also done a video series on my budget Silverado project, and that truck got 13 to 14 miles to the gallon on a good day. And so I started looking at little S10s and even some little Rangers, and they were just so expensive. I mean, we're talking $3,000 to $5,000 for a truck that really looked kind of ratted out and was abused. And then I saw one of these and I started looking into it, and you could get these in great condition for like $4+. Like I said, you get an okay one for $3 and sometimes under $3. And this car does have some cosmetic flaws. It's got the major dent in the bumper here, which he said was a parking lot incident. I don't know what he ran into, but it looks pretty bad. I've thought about taking the bumper off since it's plastic and taking a heat gun and trying to warp it and push it back out as best I can. If you have any suggestions on how to fix this, please let me know in the comments if there's any bodywork guys out there or anything like that, because I would be interested in getting this fixed as cheap as possible without having to just go buy a different bumper, because like I said, it's a little difficult to find this color, especially when it's already not damaged. It also has some damage on this quarter panel. Looks like he ran into, I don't know if it was a pole or what, but sideswiped it. It's bad, it's noticeable, but it's not the end of the world. Like I said, it's not bad for a $2,700 car. I figured for a running, driving, cool car, which, I mean, it's cool to me. I know it's a V6, but the saving grace of the car, it is a 5-speed. Now, that is the one kind of requirement I had for buying one of these was it had to look decent and it had to have a 5-speed. I was not going to buy an automatic V6 Mustang. Like I said, I looked at some other cars, even like stuff like Camrys and the little tiny economy cars. They just didn't have any sort of cool factor to them, and they were more than something like this was. Granted, they may be a little more reliable. I don't know. I've always been a sucker for just cool, cheap little beater cars. And if you've seen the channel, I've owned a Colorado, a Tahoe, a Explorer, a Silverado, this Tahoe on 35s. Everything I've ever owned has been four-wheel drive, lifted or at least stock height, and has just been like an off-road gas hog. And it's always been automatic other than that Ford I owned with the 4-speed. This is completely opposite. I've never owned a car before, never had anything remotely fast, and not that this is fast, it's not. But it's fun. It's, like I said, it's 5-speed. It's got the 3.8 V6, which is 180 horsepower and 220 foot-pounds of torque, I believe, which is not a lot, and I'm sure it's lost quite a few since the factory. But it's not been a bad car to drive. I love driving it to work. I love driving it around. There's not a whole lot of space in the car for people, but all my friends like it. And to somebody who doesn't really know anything about cars, all they see is a blue Mustang. And so it's got a little bit of a cool factor to it. And now I don't really care too much what people think, because I like it and that's all that matters, because I was the one that paid the money for it. So what if it's got a V6? The only major problem I've had out of it so far is the clutch cable. The guy redid the clutch cable. He told me he put a new clutch in and a new clutch cable. Now, most of the aftermarket clutch cables are supposed to be adjustable at the firewall and underneath the car where it goes to the transmission fork. But this is a really cheap cable and it has no adjustment point. I know that there is a place to put a wrench there, but I've tried it, nothing happens. You cannot adjust the clutch cable on this car. So I've had to basically put in spacers in between each end of the clutch cable to make it tighter, because I don't know if it's stretched or loosened or what. But this has happened twice now. I go to pushing the clutch, it doesn't fully disengage, and it's hard to put in gear. And it's always when I'm like 45 minutes away and I barely make it home because the car will not let me shift. So hopefully I fix that, Lord willing, we'll see. Other than that, it's got a little bit of an oil leak around the valve cover, which is very common for these 3.8s, it appears. On the interior, it's not too bad. It's not great. It definitely shows it's got some miles on it. Driver's seat is the worst. And I'm not super picky on how my car's driver's seat looks. I mean, the rest of the car's relatively clean. I know it's not perfect, ignore the mess, but it is a daily driver and it's something I use every day, so it's not going to be perfect. I've got a unit in radar detector, and like I said, it is a 5-speed. The car did come with a Kenwood head unit. The stock speakers sound decent. I do want to put at least one sub in the car. I've never put a sub in a car before, and I'd like to go ahead and do that with this one since I drive it every day. The goal here for now, at least, is to put as little money in this car as possible. So I bought some floor mats for it, and I changed the oil when I got it. And other than that, I did the headlights. Now, the original headlights were in it. They were very cloudy, very scuffed. And instead of spending money on a headlight kit, which I never have much luck with as far as like restoring them, I just spent $60 on eBay and bought a headlight, or a set of headlights, for like 60 bucks, and I'm very happy. But overall, it's been a great car. It's been fun to daily. The trunk has a decent amount of space, surprisingly. I've got it full of junk now. But if you have any comments on it, please let me know. Like I said, for now, I'm not interested in putting a whole lot of money into the car, but if you have any budget ideas, I would definitely be interested in trying them out. I would like to look at getting some different wheels at some point. I'm not a big fan of these wheels. I think they're 15s. I just don't like the way they look. It does have kind of a cheap tint job. I think it's 30%. It's got some tint peeling on it. It's not a great tint job, but overall, for a $2,700 car that runs and drives and is fun to drive, I don't have a whole lot of complaints with it. I think it's pretty cool. I know it's a V6, and pretty much any American sports car that traditionally has a V8 that comes in a V6, it gets dogged on a lot, which I really don't blame people. Growing up, I always thought these cars were kind of ugly and they just didn't fit, and they just looked like a 90s college girl car. But as I'm looking at the new Edge style and I'm getting used to driving it every day for the past couple months, I'm really starting to like it. The seating ergonomics are not great. I feel like they would be best for a person who's slightly shorter than me, because once you set the seat back at all, if you're tall, it's hard to reach the shifter, even if you have long arms. And I have pretty long arms, and I sometimes have a hard time like reaching all the way up to 5th gear because of my leg space. I need the seat so far back. But other than that, it's really been a cool car. It's been fun to drive. It gets good gas mileage for what it is. It's got a little 35th anniversary badge right there since it's a 99. And it beats filling up this once to twice a week. That's $50 to fill up, to, you know, once every 5 to 6 days on this car, and it's a $30 fill up. It definitely is a lot better on my bank account. You know, if I keep it one day and I fix the body imperfections and I get the roof repainted or something, they say it's pretty easy to do like a 4.6 swap. I think it'd be cool to build a 4.6 and put it in here. You know, that's a lot of money and a lot of time away, but we'll see. But if you have any suggestions on what I should do to this car, please let me know. I'd be very interested. Please like the video if you enjoyed, and like I said, please leave a comment, because I love interacting with the comments and answering questions. And I'm kind of looking for suggestions on this car, so if you have anything you think I should do, leave a comment. Thank y'all for watching.